All right, let's just get straight to it. We're going to talk about a mystery that's literally hiding on the device you're probably watching this on right now.
I mean, think about it for a second. Every single time you jump on the Wi-Fi at a coffee shop or an airport or a hotel, you're taking a bit of a risk, right? So why in the world isn't there just a simple, universal safe mode button on every phone? One switch to rule them all.
And here's where it gets really interesting. This isn't a tech problem, not at all. The ability to lock down all your phone's traffic with a single tap, what we call a VPN, it's already built into the very core of your phone's operating system. The capability is sitting right there, just waiting.
So if the tech is ready and waiting, why is that button missing? Well, the answer is this incredible, messy battle between three huge forces that basically run our digital lives.
So let's break down exactly why this feature, which seems so obvious, is actually one of the hardest things to pull off. We're going to look at 4 massive roadblocks standing in the way.
Okay, obstacle number 1 is the most straightforward, but it is a big one. We're talking about cold, hard cash.
And we are not talking about a rounding error in a budget here. To give every single user a free, high-quality, always-on security service, a company like Apple or Google would be looking at a bill in the billions of dollars. And that's not a one-time cost, that's every single year.
You see, a VPN isn't just a clever piece of software. It's a gigantic physical and human operation. You need to have servers all over the globe, you need enough bandwidth to handle all that data, and you need teams of people working 24/7 to keep it all running and secure. It is a massive, ongoing commitment.
All right, but let's just pretend for a second that money is no object. The next problem is even stickier. And this is where we get into the really complex world of politics.
And this slide just lays out the fundamental conflict perfectly. On one side, a built-in, always-on VPN would give every user anonymity and let data flow freely across borders. But that is the exact opposite of what many governments demand. They require the power to conduct surveillance, to censor content, and to get access for law enforcement. If every phone suddenly became a black box, you'd have an immediate and massive clash with governments all over the world.
Now, the third obstacle. This one hits even closer to home for the companies that make our phones. It actually attacks the very foundation of how the mobile internet makes its money.
So much of the app economy, the ad economy, it all runs on data. Specifically, things like your location, which they get from your IP address, think of it like your phone's digital street address, and your browsing habits. Well, an always-on VPN is designed to scramble or hide that exact information. So by offering this button, companies would basically be shooting their own business model and the business models of countless other companies right in the foot.
And finally, we get to the simple, practical nightmare of who gets the blame when, inevitably, something goes wrong.
Right now, if you go out and get a VPN app and something breaks, it's on you and that app developer. But if that VPN were a standard feature baked into your phone, every single one of these problems, slow Wi-Fi, your battery dying faster, your banking app freaking out, all of that becomes a customer service ticket aimed straight at the phone manufacturer. The support headache would be absolutely enormous.
Okay, so the big magic button is impossible for all these reasons, but that doesn't mean your phone isn't getting more secure. What's actually happening is way quieter and, frankly, a lot more clever.
So instead of one big politically explosive VPN button, what we're actually seeing is this kind of stealth revolution. It starts with the traditional VPN app, and then they deconstruct it. They break it apart into its most important pieces. Things like encrypting your DNS, which is like your phone's private phone book for the internet, or hiding your IP address. Then comes the really smart part, absorption. These individual features are slowly, quietly being baked right into the phone's operating system, but under friendly-sounding names like Private Relay or Secure DNS. And the endgame? This enhanced protection just becomes the new default, a standard security upgrade that happens without ever having to use that controversial 3-letter word, VPN.
All of this leads us to a really powerful and kind of counterintuitive conclusion. The reason this button isn't on your phone isn't because of some technological failure.
And that's really the heart of it all. An always-on, one-tap security button is, from a purely technical standpoint, the right thing to do. But it's so right, it's so powerful that it just completely shatters the economic, political, and practical realities of the world we live in today. Which really just leaves us with one final question. When is the world going to be ready to catch up with the technology?